This is it, everybody, the final part of my Best of Next Fest Juno 2025 edition. After this, I never have to play another video game ever again, for at least another 5 to 6 months. We are beginning with Operation Octo. This is a tower defense game inspired by Plants vs. Zombies, but instead of Plants vs. Zombies, it's Octopus vs. Skeletons. It's your job to defend your base of clams and other sea life from evil skeletons coming to get you. You'll gather resources that you'll be able to then use to summon your different towers or special units, and you must defend against waves and waves of skeletons. As the game goes on, nastier skeletons are introduced that will require more planning and specific turrets to take them down. And this is all done in a very adorable art style. The main issue from the demo for me is that it did feel a little bit slower to play compared to Plants vs. Zombies. I would like to see maybe a little bit faster introduction of unlocks or things that mix things up, but this looks like a very interesting and solid take on the PvZ formula. So if you are looking for another tower defense style game, I would give this one a try, and I'm looking forward to seeing where things go when it is released. We now go to Off. This is a remaster of a classic RPG Maker game that was released at the end of the 2010s. It's coming back with additional content, and of course being available on Steam for the first time. In it, you play as the spirit controlling the enigmatic battler, who has a job to purify the world. And doing so is going to require them to explore a very unusual place, fight lots of specters, and apparently solve a lot of puzzles. The game has definitely been compared to the likes of Undertale, but this one features more traditional JRPG combat. You'll build your party with the battler as well as other spirits you'll find or things that can aid you. There's some gear to collect, puzzles to solve, and of course lots and lots of random encounters to get to. This one, if you have not played it, looks like it's going to be a very interesting and very different take in terms of its storytelling and general presentation. So if you're in a JRPG mood and looking for a very unusual tale to go with it, I would give this one a play. We now go to Tackle for Loss. This is described as Hotline Miami meets football. You play a football player who has lost their memory, and they've apparently lost their daughter as well. In order to get her back, we're going to have to murder a whole lot of people that are standing in our way. Now, as per traditional football rules, you can only murder people 4 times in a single room. I think those are some of the extra rules that go with it. But the game quickly introduces the idea of momentum, that by killing enemies very fast, you regain your hits, and this is required as the number of enemies in each floor get more and more. There is a light upgrade system where you can unlock new abilities, such as being able to slow down time, throw a football, and other ones. But the main point of this game is kind of like the action puzzle style of Hotline Miami. Enemies go down very quickly, but so do you. So you need to figure out the perfect line from room to room to kill all the enemies and make it to the next spot. It's a very interesting concept for a game, but it does have that kind of like random wonkiness that Hotline has, where you'll try and kill an enemy, or you'll try and approach them, and this time they'll turn around and shoot you. Or maybe another time they'll run in a different direction. It's still a very original take for this kind of premise. So I guess if you're in the mood for some football with a side of murder, I would give this one a play. We now go to Shattered Divinities. This is a Metroidvania where you wake up in a strange world that is consumed by darkness and chaos. And in order to save the day, you are going to have to slice up a lot of enemies and of course collect upgrades to aid you. From our time with this demo, this feels like your kind of standard combat-focused Metroidvania. It controls very nicely. As you'll attack from multiple directions, you'll gain different upgrades that you can purchase using kind of these crystals you find, and of course new permanent powers that will then aid you going forward. You can fast travel to kind of any point once you find, which is a nice touch. And while this game didn't feel like it's doing anything like above and beyond for Metroidvania design, it still feels very solid in its execution, at least from what we played. So if you are a Metroidvania fan Looking for another one to tide you over before we hear something about Silksong? I would give this demo a try. I'm interested in playing the finished game. We now switch over to Net.Attack. This is a bullet heaven meets kind of a visual programming style game. While you will be, of course, running around in an empty field, automatically attacking any enemy that gets in your way. The twist of this one is that at any time you can kind of go into your programming here and modify how your attack works by adding different functions and connecting them in various ways. So if you want an attack to do stun, you can connect a node that provides stun that will trigger after an attack is played. Now, while this is not going to be turning you into a master programmer or a master hacker, it's a very novelty that we haven't seen quite yet in the bullet heaven style. And you'll of course be able to unlock more programs, get further in, and all that other stuff. While it doesn't seem to have quite like the amount of depth as something like Vampire Survivors has, but again, which games do at this point, it's still a very original take on this concept. And I definitely want to play the game now that it's been released, or the main game I think it's been released into early access, and kind of see like how far this rabbit hole goes. So if you're a hacker or programmer looking for a bullet heaven to try out, then I would give this one a play. We now go to Awrak. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'll of course have the link to it down below. This is another in the kind of engine style deck building roguelike, and of course popularized by Balatro. You are trying to fight against waves and waves of adorable little monsters coming to get you, and you must build a strategy and cards in order to do so. In this one, you'll have a fixed number of mana each turn to play cards, and all the cards you play are combined into a singular attack. So you throw in cards that combine bounce, or split attack, or lightning, and all that, they'll all become an attack that you can use against the enemy. You must clear all the enemies on the field before you run out of turns, or you lose. After each battle, you are then free to, of course, purchase new cards, get upgrade kind of modifiers you can add to cards, artifacts that boost several properties, and all that other great stuff. Like a lot of these other engine builders that we've played, it's easy until it's not. And if you're not constantly, again, exponentially growing your damage round by round, battle by battle, you'll quickly run into that one enemy who will just not go down, and the run is over. There are additional characters to unlock that add new features, new cards, and all that. And I found this one to be pretty charming. So if you're a fan, again, of the Balatro style deck building, where it's all about making number go really, really up, then I would give this one a try. We now go to Flan's BN. This is a prequel to a game from the same developer. This one kind of focusing on kind of a story or adventure focused deck builder. We are in a mysterious castle, and in order to find our way out, we're going to have to try and uncover our past through a variety of different stories. The game is split into kind of two distinct modes. You'll have kind of this exploration time where during the day you'll explore the castle, solving puzzles, finding out information, and unlocking new cards, which you will then be able to take into the story. When it's nighttime, you'll pick a story which is kind of like your level, and you'll explore that, getting into deck building battles, finding more cards, and trying to bring the story to a happy ending. The combat here is kept relatively basic. This is one of those games where you do want to kind of get rid of your base cards as quickly as you can, as it's a very slow-paced combat, and your base deck doesn't really do a lot of damage or do a lot of defense as well to go with it. It looks like there'll be kind of different styles of cards based on different characters you find, and it's a very interesting concept for a game. This one again would be for someone who's looking for more of a deck building adventure game rather than a deck building roguelike. We now go to Singou Breaka. This is a puzzle arcade game where your job is to break traffic signals. Of course only in the game and not in real life. To do so you need to match the colors to themselves, which will cause them to explode. If there's any nearby when the explosion occurs, they will swap color. Those allow you to set up combos and chains and try to store as many blocks as you can within the time limit and get the best high score. While this is probably not the puzzle game for me, it's still a very charming one nonetheless. So if you're in the mood for some arcade puzzling and maybe don't like traffic signals as well, then I would give this one a try. We now go to Mage Mike. This is a kind of visual programming or node programming action puzzle game. There's both combat and some kind of just logic-based puzzles to go with things. But regardless, your job is to set up nodes to affect the behavior of different turrets and other things in order to solve puzzles or fight against enemies. Each kind of node will affect things differently. You'll need to figure out the order as well as how you modify each node in order to achieve the desired results. Do you want to go for splitting a shot, delaying the split, multi-shots, bouncing shots, and all other kinds of shots? There's of course additional challenges, and the game will of course test your brain in terms of understanding the logic that goes with it. I do wish it was maybe like a little bit easier to kind of like alter some of these nodes, and because you do everything from the node screen, it kind of requires you to do a lot of trial and error to dial things in, but it's still a very interesting take on this kind of visual programming design. So if you're a fan of, again, visual programming and looking for a more action take on it, then I would give this one a try. We now go to Danchi Days. This is a kind of slice of life mini game puzzling adventure. We play as Hoshino, who has moved into her old apartment complex where her grandmother lived along with her father. Sadly, her grandmother has developed dementia due to Alzheimer's and has very little recollection as to what's happening. In order to maybe get her to smile again and spark something, she has taken it upon herself to revive the summer festival that the apartment complex used to have. And along with a helper Kappa, they're going to have to go on a very heartwarming and probably heartbreaking tale around the complex. Our gameplay here is a mix of minigame puzzles. You'll explore the area trying to find different neighbors and meeting the kind of wacky assortment of tenants. And you're going to be trying to convince them to RSVP to the festival. But to do so, you must complete various minigames, help them out in their day-to-day life, and other things as well. The minigames themselves are all very charming, with each one having their own different take, and I absolutely adore the pixel art and sprite animation that this game has going for it. There are additional challenges. By completing the minigames well enough, you'll get bonus stars that will be used to unlock additional paths with more story and more things to go along with it. I found this game to be just utterly charming to play, and I'm both interested and a little bit nervous to play the full game to see how much this game will emotionally wreck me by the end of it. So, if you are looking for a very charming game with a very hopeful message and positivity to go with it, then I would give this one a play. We now go to Consume Me, a slice-of-life RPG where you play as Jenny, who's in her last year of high school and just trying to make do, while her over-demanding mother constantly wants her to lose weight. So she decides to try and go on a diet, and it's up to you to try and get her through the remaining year while losing weight and not hurting herself in the process. Despite the very charming and very funny animations, this game definitely has a more, darker edge in terms of its story, dealing with topics such as fat phobia and the issues of eating too much or becoming anorexic. Now, I don't know how dark the main game is going to get. The whole idea is it's told through this lens of this RPG style. Each day, you'll decide what Jenny will do and what she will eat. And you have different goals to achieve in terms of weight loss and bettering yourself before the kind of next judgment period. I do love the art style of this one. Again, it does a lot to kind of temper the more serious tones and the messaging of the story. It can be a little bit on the challenging side. If you're bad at kind of Tetris style, fitting in blocks everywhere, you may have some trouble with the food and minigame. But still a very interesting and original take on these kinds of games, especially for a game telling a story or depicting a story along these topics. So, This one is going to be for someone looking for a very humorous take on a more serious topic. We now go to Meow Tower Doomsguard. This is a tower defense roguelite, where you must defend a tower from all manner of creatures coming to destroy the crystal on top. You'll set up different heroes, each one will have different gear and powers they'll be able to use. Your job is to kind of put them in the right spots and choose which ones to upgrade, both in terms of leveling them up and giving them gear which will enhance their stats. After the battle is over, you'll be able to upgrade your tower, allowing you access to more heroes, improve their stats, unlock new functions, etc, etc. It's a very basic formula, but it's still very charming and compelling to play. Now, I didn't get a chance to see too far into kind of the roguelite elements of it, but I would say this one is going to be for the tower defense fans who like the kind of like hero collector or heroes as a tower formula. And now we go to Lia Hacking Destiny. This is an action roguelite where you play as Lia, who's trying to escape from a doomed Earth where robots have taken over, and we must descend into the remaining facility and find the last remaining rocket off the planet. So this is your kind of classic style roguelite. You'll gain access to new weapons as well as permanently upgrade your stats from run to run. In the runs themselves, you'll get access to different weapons between melee and range that you can then use to destroy enemies. There's a kind of alert system that if you're standing in front of cameras too long, the alert level will go up, which will make the run harder, such as inducing traps or making the enemies be more dangerous to fight. There's of course permanent upgrades to find, more challenges to go for, and this is another one of those games where it doesn't quite do anything that I would say is above and beyond for the action roguelite, but still is a very charming and very solid game to play. The only complaint that I had is that it did feel a little bit like floaty in terms of combat. The game likes to kind of like auto aim you at enemies when you're close enough, which can mess with things if you're trying to dodge around certain attacks. But if you are an action roguelite fan looking for another one to check out, then I would definitely recommend you look into it. We now switch over to Space Birds. When different birds on a planet decide to cooperate, they form a massive empire and begin searching the stars for stuff. And we play one such ship that's out there trying to expand and explore the mysteries of space. That's going to involve a lot of automation. This is a kind of like casual like automation puzzle game. How this one works is that you'll go into a galaxy. Some of the maps can be replayed endlessly with kind of the resources and asteroids randomly shuffled. Your job is to collect the resources that are required in order to complete the goals. Some goals will reward you with money and kind of tech points, which are used to unlock new buildings. But you also need to complete tasks in the solar system itself. These will require you to gather advanced materials and possibly ship them to different buildings or back to your spaceship. There is a grade system based on how efficient you can harvest the different resources and completing additional bonus objectives. If you're hoping for like hardcore automation or anything more advanced than just making sure pipes connect to each other, this is not going to be that game. This only feels more like a casual game first, automation game second. Still, it's very charming to play, and I'm curious to see like how advanced the main story will get as it gets further in. So if you're a bird fan and looking to do some automation along with them, I would give this one a try. We now go to Abra-Cooking-Dabra. This is a kind of card board game in the style of something like Cultist Simulator and that specific take, but we are cooking, apparently in Wonderland, and all the denizens apparently really want British food. And it's up to us and our boss/manager, the Cheshire Cat over there, in order to feed everyone who comes to our restaurant. In this one, it's broken down into a stage-by-stage format. Each stage you will be tasked to perform or cook up various meals for the people. The challenge is that, just like with a lot of these like card-based tabletop games, everything is handled via your cards. So if you want to cut up specific ingredients, you need to have a knife on hand. If you want to send food to them, you must have a clean plate. So there is this time management element in play, as you must be constantly balancing the cards that are on the field, what you need to cook, and spending your money to acquire more ingredients and different like sauces and spices in order to prepare the different meals. There is persistence in this one. You can keep ingredients and other resources in your fridge, which transfers from level to level. There is also using the different stars you get for perfect services to unlock additional machines or tools, thereby allowing you to do more faster in each level. If you play well enough, you'll get bonus challenges, including secret levels as well. It's a very charming take on this design, while still having that kind of hectic nature when you're trying to remember what is the correct ingredient, do I have enough on the field, and maybe I need to buy some more, and oh no, the time is counting down, where's the mayo? Still, a really great concept for a game. If you like the kind of board or card board game style of this kind of design, I would definitely give this one a check. And if you're not used to it, this one being more of a level format rather than like a grand campaign or a lengthy campaign itself makes it a really solid first entry, and one I'm definitely interested in checking out more of when it is released. And we're down to our final game of this series, and that's going to Cinderia. Could be Cinderella, but this is all dark and grim. It's a fairy tale world gone to hell, and we are going to have to murder lots of demons in order to save the day. Now, our gameplay here is pure action roguelite. If you have played Hades or any game like it, you should be very well familiar with what you're doing here. It controls quite nicely, so you'll be moving from room to room, deciding where to go, which resources to get, and trying to make progress in the main game, and bringing your resources and people you save back to the star/hub in order to unlock permanent upgrades, such as storing with relics, raising your base stats, introducing new weapons, and even bringing additional characters into the game. Admittedly, the demo itself is still very early and in a rough state. The music just seems to kind of have no bearings of what is going on, and the upgrades I got were on the basic side. You do get a lot of kind of modifier-based skills at the start, so when you do enough damage or you hit enough times, something will happen. And while there isn't a lot to this demo just yet, it definitely has a good foundation I would like to see more of. So if you are an action roguelike fan, need another one to add to your collection, I would give this demo a try. And with that, boys and girls, it's finally over. The Next Fest turn-based festive bonanza is finally finished. My voice is dead, my fingers are aching. So what were your favorite games from any of these events, or some of the ones that I covered? If you are a developer working on a game and want me to look at for some future event once I have fully recovered, if I ever fully recover, please get in touch. And with that, I am going to finally stop playing games for at least a short while, and I hope everyone enjoyed this series. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.